Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'll be showing you guys a playthrough of the board game Command of Nature, coming to you from Unstable Games. Now, Command of Nature is the latest game to hit this unstable line. If you are not familiar with any of the games from Unstable Games or TeeTurtle games, you could say their smash hit is basically Unstable Unicorns. They followed that up with, I believe it was Here to Slay. Then Happy Little Dinosaurs, their most recent game before Command of Nature was Casting Shadows, alright? All their games have this similar theme of you're battling each other, you have these cute little animals or elements or different things like that, and so it's super, super fun. Now, Command of Nature here is the newest game in their line, and this is going to be a deck building game, alright? Now, this is going to be marketed exclusively for 2 or 4 players, so 2 players in a 1v1 format, 4 players in a 2v2 format with teams, alright? If you did back the Kickstarter edition, there also was like solo rules, 3v3 rules, things like that, but all of that stuff is not in the official rule book. So we're just going to be talking about and looking at today one of the official play modes, which is a 1v1 playthrough. But the version you're going to be looking at today is the Kickstarter edition, so it's going to have this nice super fancy foil box. The original version will not have this box. I do believe the only other upgrade that you're going to see today from the Kickstarter edition to the retail is going to be the metal coins. Other than that, there might be some excess cards that are Kickstarter exclusives, but everything else is going to come in the retail edition of the game. So let's go ahead and jump down to the table, guys, where we got everything set up for our playthrough. Alright guys, so we are down here at the table where we have everything set up for a 2-player version of Command of Nature. Now, in a normal 2-player game, it's recommended that one player sits on one side of the table, the other player will sit on the opposite side of the table, and so one formation will be going this way, and then the other formation would be going this way, so kind of like a head-to-head battle. But for the purposes of our camera angle here, I decided to put both formations side by side. And so what your objective is, each player is going to be choosing an elemental sage, all right? And this elemental sage is going to have a health value here of 12. And your goal is to defeat the other elemental sage of your opponent. And so you're going to do this by playing cards from your hands. You know, you're going to have attack command cards. Like these are some examples of attack command cards here. You'll have utility command cards, ritual command cards that you're going to be using all of your characters in your formations to attack the other characters and your opponent's formation. And what you want to try to do is right off the bat in the game, you will not be able to get to your opponent's sage. You have to bring him out into the other rows by defeating the monsters or the elementals in the first and second row of your opponent, which will then bring your elemental sage or force your opponent to move your elemental sage up. Alright, I'll kind of explain how that works as we dive deeper into the playthrough. But that is essentially the premise of the game. And so this is going to be a deck building game. So everybody's going to start with a pre-made deck of cards that each elemental sage has. You'll have the opportunity to buy command cards or buy other elementals to put into your formation. So let's go ahead and just talk about the setup real quick. So like I said, each elemental is going to have their own deck of cards. In this deck of cards are going to be 4 basic elementals. Oop, and I messed up my formation. 4 basic elementals. You'll have 3 elemental warriors, all right? You'll see some attack command cards, an instant command card, a ritual command card, and another instant command card. On top of that, each elemental sage is going to have a board. So you will have your own specific board, and you see these 3 cards here at the bottom. These are going to be your elemental champions, all right? So each sage is going to have 3 elemental champions, and they will be unlocked at certain levels. So this guy says level 4, all right? And so as you level up throughout the course of the game, you have a level up track here. you're going to move up, and once you hit level 4, these champions will go into your discard pile, and you will also unlock a special specific faction action that's going to be available to you, all right? And so when you start the game, you're going to put your elemental champions down here and their specific positions, level 4, level 6, and level 8, all right? Then you're going to set your formation up by putting a basic elemental in row 1, 2 basic elementals in row 2, and then you will put your sage in the middle here with 2 of your 3 elemental warriors, 1 on the left, 1 on the right here. And then you're just going to take this other grouping of cards in your hand, give them a nice little shuffle, and you are ready to start the game. So we are going to go ahead and dive right in here, starting off with the Pebble Sage here. So we will draw 5 cards from the Pebble Sage, and we're going to jump right in here. So there are 4 phases to a turn. Phase number 1 is going to be essentially the daybreak phase, okay? If you have any elementals that has this sun icon right here, and they're in the corresponding row, you will activate that ability, all right? Now, these elementals have to be in that correct position as soon as you start your turn. So for example, this Onyx Bearer right here, it says he has to be in row 2 in order to add 1 shield to an elemental in your row 1 during the daybreak phase. If I had an elemental per se, like this River Rogue here, it says swap the positions of an elemental in row 2 and row 3, right? If I use this daybreak effect to move, let's say this Onyx Bearer was there and we flip-flop, I would not be able to activate the Onyx Bearer's daybreak effect because he was not in the right position when my turn started, okay? But that's essentially phase 1, so any elemental you have in your formation here that is in the corresponding row to activate their ability, you will activate. So right now, the Pebble Sage only has 1, which is the Pebble for the Pebble faction here, only has 1, which is a Sage itself in collecting 3 gold. He's got to be in row 2, and he's got to be in row 1 or 2. All right, so that is the first phase of the game. The second phase of the game is going to be your actual turn. So you have 4 available actions to take on your turn. The first one is you can summon an elemental from your hand to your formation. So if you have an empty spot in your formation, right now this is considered a full formation here. If you had an empty spot in your formation, you could play a card down into your formation for free. This does not cost you anything. You'd be allowed to do that. That is 1 action point, okay? The next action available to you is to play a command card from your hand. So depending on what type of command card you are playing, majority of the time these are going to be attack command cards. And so you would need to select a elemental in order to attack and use that, and I'll walk you through that process as we continue to play through the game. All right, that's 1 action point as well. The next one is swap the positions of 2 connected elementals in your formation. So connected elementals would be considered these 2 are connected, these 2 are connected, these 2 are connected. Your elemental sage is connected to all 4 of these. These 2 guys are connected right here, and this grouping is connected right there. So you could swap their positions and move him up to the 2nd row, move him back to the 3rd row. All right. And the last available action to you is to draw 1 card from your deck. And of course, if you do need to draw and you have nothing left, you will need to shuffle your discard pile to gain a card. The last thing is once you hit level 4, 6, and 8, you will unlock a specific faction action here. So for example, if I hit level 4, I have this specific action, add 1 shield to each Pebble elemental connected to your Sage. All right. You are only allowed to use 1 of your faction actions on your turn. Okay, you cannot use them more than once, all right? So you must choose one of these 3 to use, and you can only use them once during your turn. So during this phase 2, you have 4 action points to spend on any number of actions available to you, and you can repeat the same action more than once. So let's take a look at our cards here. So we got Natural Restoration, Pebble Charm, Close Strike, Geo-Weasel, and Far Strike. All right. So I think the first thing we're going to do is play Close Strike. So these attack command cards, when you play them, it's going to designate a row. All right. So your monster in, or your elemental in row 1 is going to be the attacking elemental right here. So it would be this Cobble. And then you're basically just going to read the card. It's going to tell you what to do. So deal damage equal to the attacking elemental strength to an elemental in your opponent's row 1. So my row 1 is going to be attacking my opponent's row 1. Up here in the top left-hand corner is the attack value of cards, and we've gone over the right-hand corner is the health value of the cards. Now, this is where the game gets kind of tricky because there is no system to basically keep track of the action points that you spend, and whenever you use an elemental to attack, you cannot use that elemental to attack again for the rest of the turn, so he kind of becomes exhausted. What I like to do is just place the card next to that elemental so I know that elemental has basically already gone, and then I would discard the cards in order that I played them. All right, so Mr. Cobble is going to attack Mr. Dribble. However, the Droplet, all right, the Droplet faction might have something to say that, because whenever you are attacked, you have the opportunity to play instant command cards, all right? Well, the Droplet faction has no instant command cards to defend himself from this, so he must take the damage. So Dribble is going to take 2 damage, and he's going to be defeated. Whenever one of your elementals gets defeated, all right, you are going to need to refill this row. So row 1 and row 2 must always be refilled after the initial attack. So in this situation here, the Droplet player would need to move one of their droplets up, and then they would need to choose either the River Rogue, the Torrent, or the Coastal Coyote to fill this spot right here. And I think what they're going to do is move the Coastal Coyote up to fill that formation, all right? And so you can see how the premise of the game is starting to flow now, where you want to attack and destroy monsters in your opponent's row 1 and 2 to force your opponent to move their Sage up to row 2 and eventually up to row 1 so you can do some damage to it, all right? Whenever you defeat an opponent's elemental, you go ahead and level up. So we're now going to move up to level 2. And then this card that got defeated is removed from the game. It does not get sent to the discard pile. All right. So that was the very first action that we had there. The next thing we're going to play is Far Strike. All right. So same thing here. We can choose a elemental in row 1 or row 2, and we will deal damage equal to the attacking elemental strength to an elemental 2 rows away in my opponent's formation. All right, so we are going to choose this Cobble right here, and we are attacking an elemental 2 rows away in my opponent's formation. So 1 row away is going to be this Cobble right here. 2 rows away is going to be the Dribble right there, all right? If I use this Far Strike with the Cobble, 1 row away would be that Dribble, and then I could attack this second row, all right? It's a ranged attack. So this Cobble is going to attack this Dribble. Again, our Droplet faction does not have anything to prevent this damage, so he's going to get defeated. We need to go ahead and refill these rows, so we're going to move that up and move that up right there. And then the Pebble Sage is going to move up, and now he is level 3. All right. So we have 2 actions left to spend. These are instant reaction commands when we get attacked, so we don't really need to hold on to these for right now. And then we have a Geo-Weasel that is going to be left over. So really, where options are maybe draw a card or swap the positions of 2 elementals, which I think that's what we're going to do. We will use our third action to swap the positions of 2 connected elementals, taking this Onyx Bearer, moving him into row 2, and the Cobble back, and then we are going to swap the positions of these 2 elementals here, and these 2 cards would get discarded in the order that they got played, and that is all 4 of our actions. Okay, We would then move into phase number 3, which is the buy and sell phase, all right? So we have a market area over here. We have a market of command cards, and we have a market of elemental champion cards, all right? Any faction is allowed to use any elemental of other factions. So the Pebble faction doesn't have to just buy Pebble factions. I can buy Leaf cards or Twig cards or more Pebble cards. The only difference is on certain cards, there's going to be ritual command cards, and I actually have an example here of this Droplet divination. So to play this, I need to have 3 connected elementals of the same type in my formation, all right? And then you must also have the bonus here. So I would need to have 3 connected Droplet elementals and at least 2 basic elementals in your formation. And this doesn't have to be Droplet, it just has to all be the same type. Okay, so the Droplet player could not play this card. The Pebble player could, because he has an abundance of Pebble elementals in his formation here. So we are going to buy some stuff, and I think what we're going to buy is this Focused Fury, all right? Whenever you buy a card, the bottom left-hand corner is going to show the value of that card. This is going to deal damage equal to the elemental strength -1 to an elemental in opponent's row 1. If the attacking elemental has any shields, remove them and add 1 strength during the attack for each shield removed. All right, our abilities here are shield based. So that's going to be 2 gold, so we're down to 1. And then we would need to go ahead and refill our row. All right, well, I cannot purchase anything else, so we are just going to stay pat like that. You also have the opportunity to sell cards. So whenever you sell a card, you would sell it for the value that you, if I can see there, you would sell it for the value that you bought it from. Any of your starter cards here with the star are just going to be sold for 1 gold. You can also, whenever you buy a elemental warrior from that row, you can pay an extra 2 gold, and you can send that warrior directly into your formation, all right, if you have space for it. So the Droplets over here, they could buy one of these warriors and spend an additional 2 gold to drop them right into that formation. So that was phase number 3, the buy and sell phase. Phase number 4, you're going to do cleanup. So you can discard any number of cards from your hand and then draw back up. So we really don't need this GeoWeasel right now. So we will discard them. We're going to hold on to these 2 instant command cards, and we will draw 3 new cards. So 1, 2, and 3, our final 3 cards in our deck, and that will be the end of the Pebble faction's turn. Heading over to our Droplet faction over here. Right away, we should already have 2 gold. I just realized the mistake I made. So this Coastal Coyote, it was in row 2, and it says when another Droplet elemental enters your row 2, you would collect 2 gold. So when this River Rogue moved up into row 2, all right, we should have gained 2 gold just for that, all right? Now, into the Daybreak effect, we would collect 3 gold here. And then this guy's effect is swap the positions of an elemental in row 2 and an elemental in row 3. We do not want to do that. We want to keep our torrent safe. All right. So looking at our droplets here, the first thing we want to do is try and fill this formation back up. So we will spend 1 action point to drop this Riptide Tiger down into our formation. The second thing I think we're going to do is we will close strike this Dribble to attack that Cobble, all right? So we would deal 2 base damage. However, the Pebble faction has something to say about that. He's going to play a couple instant command cards. We will start with Natural Restoration. Play this card when an elemental in your formation is attacked. Reduce that damage by 1. All right, so we're going to reduce this damage by 1, so he would only take 1 damage. And then we're also going to play Pebble Charm. Play this card when a Pebble elemental in your formation is attacked. Add 1 shield to another elemental in your formation. So we are going to put a shield on this Granite Rampart. What a shield does is a shield functions like you think it would. It will prevent damage whenever a elemental is attacked. And after he's attacked, then all of the shields on that elemental will go away. So that was the second action here with the Droplet. So we do have another close strike and we have a far strike. So I think what we want to do is the third action is we want to swap this dribble with our River Rogue, okay? By doing this, and I'll actually discard this close strike right now. By doing this, another Droplet has entered row 2. We would get to collect 2 more gold, so I'm going to flip this over for 3 coins, all right? And then the last action is we will play... we're going to play a close strike on our River Rogue here to attack the Cobble. All right. Our Pebble Sage does not have anything to defend with that. All right. So he's going to have to take the damage. And so the Cobble will be defeated, will be removed from the game. We're going to need to go ahead and refill these rows. So I think we're going to move that there and move that there. And then the Droplet Sage is going to go ahead and move up 1 level for defeating a monster, or defeating an elemental. Okay, so that was all 4 of our actions. We played, we swapped, we close strike, and close striked. Okay, into the buy phase. Right away, we want to try, and we see this Crane Conjurer right here, and that has our eye. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to spend 7 gold, all right, to bring him straight into our formation, okay? And so he has 5 gold. His Daybreak effect is we get to deal 2 damage to an elemental in your opponent's formation. If this elemental has at least 1 boost, deal 1 additional damage. All right, so he is in our row 3. We're going to put him in there, and he's got to be in row 3 to deal that damage. So now what we would do is we would go to our cleanup phase, and we want to keep these 2 cards in our hand. So we are going to draw 3, 1, 2, 3, our final 3 cards, and that will be the end of our turn. So moving on to the Pebble Sage, real quick, refill that row. We have collect 3 gold here. All right. We have add 1 shield to an elemental in your row 1, which is our Granite Rampart right there. And then he gets to draw a card if this elemental has 1 shield on it. So we are going to need to shuffle our deck back up. And let's see what we got. So we are drawing a card, and we get a close strike. And sorry for the camera. I know it's a little blurry. For some reason, it's not focusing on the cards that I want to focus. Okay, so that was my Daybreak phase. We are moving into phase number 2. Right away, we're going to want to close strike. We will want to close strike the River Rogue right there. All right, so we are dealing 2 damage to our River Rogue. The Water Elemental has something to say about that. He's going to play Natural Restoration and prevent 1 of that damage, so he's only taken 1 damage for that. All right, the second action we're going to want to do is, I think what we do is, this is what I got. I want to play this Cobble, so we will play this Cobble into our formation for our second action. All right. Our third action, what we're going to do is we are going to switch the positions of the Cobble and the Granite Rampart here for the third action. And then our final action, we will close strike the Cobble into the River Rogue. All right. And the Droplet Sage is not going to do anything. So 2 damage coming to the River Rogue for 3. And that is going to be the end of our Pebble Sage's turn. We have 4 gold, and we are going to buy this Grim Blade right here for 3 gold. All right, we're going to buy that Grim Blade for 3 gold, and we will end our turn. All right, moving over to our Droplet Sage right here. We are going to activate our first Daybreak effect, deal 2 damage to an elemental in your opponent's formation. We are going to damage our opponent's Sage. We're going to collect 3 gold. All right, and none of these other things are going to activate. All right, so we are going into our phase number 2. So we have the ability to, we might Far Strike. That might be good. Let's see. So I think what we're going to do is play Far Strike on Coastal Coyote. So we're going to attack 2 rows away to our opponent's cobble right there. All right. And so we are dealing 3 damage. The Pebble Sage actually needs to draw some cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's see if our Pebble Sage wants to do anything about that. He will. We will actually play Pebble Charm, all right? So when this Pebble in my formation, add 1 shield to another elemental in my formation, and we're going to add a shield to our Onyx Bearer, okay? But we still have to take 3 damage, so our Cobble is going to get defeated, and we're going to need to refill the rows here. So move up and move up, okay? Then we get to level up, so we will go up to level 3 now on the board, and let's continue with the rest of our turns. So I can't really play this Droplet Divination. I think what we just do is let's draw a card. So we have no more cards in our deck here, so we're just going to draw the top card of our deck, which is Natural Restoration. All right. Really don't like any else. Draw another card for 3, and we got a Close Strike, and actually I like that. And the last action we're going to do is Close Strike. The River Rogue is going to hit this Granite Rampart. Now, he's going to block 2 of it, so he blocks all the damage, but the shields do go away. All right, Far Strike gets discarded, Close Strike gets discarded, and that is going to be the end of the Droplet Sage's turn. We now go to the buy phase, and the Tauren Sage is not going to buy anything. We're going to move into the discard phase, or this cleanup phase. You can discard any number of cards that you want, and so we're going to discard this Droplet Divination and keep the rest of these here to draw 1 card, which is a Close Strike, and then we're going to need to reshuffle our deck and draw 1 more card. We'll take this one, which is another Close Strike. Okay, so that is the end of the Droplet Sage's turn. Moving on to our Pebble Sage. So we get to collect 3 gold, add 1 shield to an elemental in our row 1, and now this effect is not going to activate because he did not have a shield on it when we started our turn. Okay, let's see what we can do here. So Pebble Protection, Focus Fury, Geo-Weasel. Okay, I got a plan here. So Pebble Protection. I need to have 3 elementals of the same type, and they all need to be connected. Add 2 shields to an elemental in your row 1 or row 2 if you have at least 2 basic elementals in your formation. All right, so that's a plan. I can combine this with Focus Fury to do some damage. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is play Far Strike with our Onyx Bearer onto the River Rogue. Okay, so 3 damage is coming to this River Rogue. The Water Droplet player is going to play Droplet Charm. So play this card when a Droplet elemental in your formation is attacked. Draw a card if that elemental is defeated. By damage from the attack, draw an additional card. All right, so we get to draw a card. All right, we get our Droplet Divination. And then it is going to be defeated in attack because it only needs 1 hit. And so this is going to go away. River Rogue is gone. All right, we're going to need to refill the row. We're going to put our Dribble. All right, our Dribble is going to go up, and then our Riptide Tiger is going to go across. You can go across and up to refill your rows there. And then we get to draw an additional card because our monster was damaged, defeated by that damage. Okay, so that was turn number 1 that we had for us. Turn number 2, what I'm going to do is play Pebble Protection here. So I'm going to use these three elementals that are connected. You can use elementals that have attacked, all right? Elementals that attack can use ritual cards, so add 2 shields to an element in your row 1 or row 2 if you have at least 2 basic elementals in your formation. So we do have 2 basic elementals, and we're going to put 2 shields on Granite Rampart. So that is our second action. Third action, we are going to play GeoWeasel, and our last action, we will play Focus Fury and attack this Dribble. So I would normally deal -1. However, if I have any shields on them, I can remove them and add 1 to its strength during the attack for each shield removed, which I will add all 3. So basically, I'm dealing 4 damage, right? Because I would do -1, so I'll only be dealing 1, but I take away 3 shields to add +1. So 4 damage is coming to the Dribble, and the Water Droplet Sage guy, he can't block that, so that's defeated. We're now going to need to move up. We should have got 2 gold here when this Riptide Tiger moved into this row. And then what we're going to need to do is move him up and then move this Crane Conjurer up as well. Okay, so that is all 4 of our actions. All right, and we did level up to level 4. So we are going to get access to our Jade Titan here. And we get the faction action, add 1 shield to each Pebble elemental connected to your Sage. All right, so we now have the buy phase. We are definitely buying this Focus Fury. We like these things, getting rid of these shield cards. All right, that's going to be $2, all right, dropping us down to 1. We have 2 left over, and there is nothing to buy. I also forgot to mention, in the market phase, what you can do is spend 1 gold to basically reset a row. So everything in that row goes to the bottom of the deck, and you draw 3 new cards. All right, last thing to go, we have no cards in our hands, so we need to draw 1. All right, and then we're going to need to mix up our deck and go ahead and draw 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's what we got. A lot of good cards here for the Pebble Sage, and that is what we got. All right, moving on to our Droplet Sage. So we are collecting 3 gold. All right, in a 2-player game, you are only allowed to have a max of 12 gold. So we got 6, 7, 8. All right, that is the only thing that's going to activate. I should have drawn a card when he entered row 1. All right, that card would have been this Droplet Charm there. And we got to go straight into some offense. Okay, so I think the first thing we will do is we will put a basic elemental out into our formation for 1. We will close strike the Granite Rampart there for 2. So let's see what we want to do. We're going to play both this Pebble Charm and Natural Restoration. So reduce the damage by 1. And then add 1 shield to another elemental in our formation, which is going to be that Onyx Bearer. So only 1 damage out on our Granite Rampart. Okay, the third action that we're going to do is we will Far Strike with our Coastal Coyote to the Granite Rampart. Well, unfortunately, we don't have anything to defend it. So this Granite Rampart is going to be defeated. All right, we're going to need to shift some stuff around in our rows here. So we're actually going to put the GeoWeasel up there. And we get to level up to level 4 now for the Droplet Sage. So he is unlocking the Tide Turner, all right? We're unlocking the Tide Turner and that special action of drawing 2 cards from the deck. Okay. The last action available to us is what we're going to do is actually take our faction action now to draw 2 cards, which we are drawing our Tide Turner. All right, that is that would be the end of the turn. So these 2 cards would be discarded. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're not going to draw anything up, and we need to actually go to the buy phase first. So we are actually going to spend 6, 7, 8. We got a lot of stuff that we can use here. And We need 4 elementals connected to the same type for the same type. I think what we're going to do is buy the... we're going to spend 7 and take this Stone Scoundrel straight into our formation. So that's 6 and 7. Gold gone for this Scoundrel going straight into our formation, and a Roaming Razor comes out. Okay, so that was the end of our Droplet Sage's turn. Moving over to our Pebble Sage, we get 3 gold here for that. Nothing there, and when an elemental in your formation is attacked, collect 1 gold, but he's got to be in row 1. Alright, so we have 3 abilities here. This is what's going to be interesting. Alright, right off the shoot, the first thing we're going to play is our Focus Fury with this Onyx Bearer. Alright, so we are attacking Riptide Tiger. We will remove 2 shields, alright, to deal 2 damage. So 2 extra damage, so 4 damage is coming to our Riptide Tiger. Alright, what we're going to do is play Natural Restoration to reduce that by 1. So only 3 damage is coming out on the Riptide Tiger. Alright, that's going to get discarded. The second action we're going to do is our Faction action. Alright, add 1 shield to each Pebble Mental connected to your Sage. Alright, so connected to our Sage is there, there, and there. That's action number 2. Action number 3, we're going to swap the position of our Onyx Bearer and our Cobble. And then the last action, we're going to do a Close Strike onto Riptide Tiger. Alright, well, our Pebble Sage is going to play this Droplet Charm. Alright, we're going to draw a card, and we have nothing to draw, so we're going to need to mix up our cards here. We'll draw a card, and then if that monster is getting, that's what we drew. If that monster, or the elemental, I keep saying monster. If that elemental is defeated by damage, we draw another card, which it will be, so we get a Far Strike as well. And he is defeated, and we need to reposition some of these rows here. So Coastal Coyote and Dribble. So when a Droplet enters row 2, collect 2 gold. Alright, so he gets 2 gold and putting him at 3. Alright, so that was all 4 of our actions with the Pebble Sage. We can now go to the buy. So we got 3, 4, 5. What we're going to do is we will buy these Astral Stars, alright? Astral Stars for 5. Choose up to 6 elementals in your opponent's formation and deal 1 damage to each of them. That's 5 coins right there. And refill the row with a melee shield. We're going to need to draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Boom, boom, boom. That's what we got. We got our nice Jade Titan coming out there. And end of our turn. Alright, moving on to our Torrent Sage. So collect 3 gold for him. And that's all we're doing. So let's go straight into our phases. So we will summon the Tide Turner into our formation here. And then the first thing we are going to do is play Close Strike, Coastal Coyote into the Cobble. Let's see if we have anything that we can prevent. Nope, none. We cannot prevent anything with this Pebble Sage. So he does reduce 1 damage. However, we're still being dealt 3 damage. So our Cobble, alright, is actually going to be defeated. And we're going to need to move some stuff up. So I think what we want to do is move the Geoweasel up and move this Cobble up just like that. Alright. The Torrent Sage will get to level up. So move up 1 spot to 5. Alright, the third action in our turn is we will Far Strike the Crane Conjurer. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. We'll just do the Dribble onto the Geoweasel. So 1 shield goes away. Alright, and then 1 damage comes out to the Geoweasel. And then the last action available to us is we are going to swap the positions of 2 elementals. Alright, so Dribble is going back down there, and we get 2 gold because of our Coastal Coyote. Alright, so that was pretty much our 4 actions there. We played Tide Turner, Close Strike, Far Strike, and Swap. So now we go into the buy phase. we have 6, 7, 8 to buy. Interesting. You know what? I think we spend 8 and buy this roaming razor right here. This bad boy, add this elemental. After this elemental deals damage by attacking, swap its position with a connected elemental. All right, he'll go straight into our discard, and we finish with all 8 of that. All right, game is winding down here. So we will need to draw some cards here. So 1, 2, we need 3. All right, and we're going to have to shuffle. All right, shuffle 4 and 5, okay? Which is a Droplet Charm and a Far Strike. Okay, moving on to our Pebble Sage. We got a gold here, shield to elemental in row 1. Perfect. And let's see what we got. The first thing we're doing is summoning this Jade Titan into the row. All right, and then we will, that was the first action. All right, second action, we will play Pebble Protection. All right, so add 2 shields to an elemental in row 1 or row 2 if you have at least 2 basics. I don't even have 2 basics. Oh no, we can't do that. All right, I see you. What we're gonna do is we will do Focused Fury on GeoWeasel. All right, so we will remove a shield. Well, actually, that's not a smart idea. We are gonna do Close Strike with our GeoWeasel and deal 1 damage to our Coastal Coyote. The Droplet character is going to let that go through, so 1 damage goes through there. All right. The third action is we're going to swap the positions of our Onyx Bearer with the GeoWeasel, and our last action is we will play Grim Blade. All right, now this would do extra damage if this wants to focus. If the elemental performed a ritual, we would get to add 2 strength, but we're not, so we're just dealing basic. So we're dealing 3 damage to the Coastal Coyote. All right, our lovely Droplet Sage is going to play both Natural Restoration and Droplet Charm. So reduce the damage by 1, so only 2 damage, okay? However, that is still going to be defeated, and we will play Droplet Charm to draw a card, and if that elemental gets defeated, we get to draw another card. So we get to draw 2 cards into our hand. So our Coastal Coyote is defeated here, and we're going to need to move some stuff up, and we're doing that and that, okay? That is all for the Pebble Sage's turn. We got 3 gold. We need to get something new out. We are going to buy this melee shield for 3 gold. All right. Play this card. Elemental in your formation is melee attack. Reduce the damage by 2. And that's going to be the end of our turn. All right. Moving on to droplets. Well, we draw cards. So that's 3. And, 3. And 4 and 5. Okay. Boom and boom. All right. Moving on to our Droplet Sage, we are going to collect 3 gold, and we're going to see what we have available to us. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to Close Strike the Tide Turner. We'll Close Strike our Onyx Bearer here, dealing 4 damage. And our Pebble Charm, we'll do Pebble Charm to add a shield to one of our other characters. Will probably be that GeoWeasel. So Onyx Bearer is getting defeated here. All right, so Elemental Sage is going up to level 6. We unlock our King Crustacean. All right, and our new ability to swap the positions of 2 elementals in your formation. All right, so that was our first action. We need to fill these rows back up. All right, the second action we're going to do is play Far Strike with the Stone Scoundrel. So 4 damage coming in, 2 is getting blocked, so 2 damage gets blocked, and he takes 3 damage, no, 2 damage, yeah. 2 damage, which is going to put him at 3. All right, so that is our second action. The third action, we're going to swap the Crane Conjurer with the Tide Turner. And our fourth action is Close Strike on our GeoWeasel, which destroys the GeoWeasel here. And we're going to move this Jade Titan up, and now we have to move our Gravel into that position. Okay, so all of these cards are going to go ahead and get discarded now. We got 3 gold. We will buy this Guardian Shot. All right, we will need to refill and draw some cards. But we need a whole new deck. And 1, 2, 3. All right, boom, boom, boom. And we get King Crustration and all of this Droplet stuff. Okay, going to our Gravel. All right, 3 gold. We are struggling right now. We are struggling. So, Close Strike this Crane Conjurer. All right, we will actually play Droplet Charm. All right, which, again, draw a card. If it gets defeated, we get to draw another card. So we're drawing 2 cards, and we get 2 Close Strikes. So Crane Conjurer is defeated. We are going to move this Tide Turner up. This Dribble will need to move up, and that is that. All right, Far Strike. Gravel will Far Strike the Tide Turner. And let's see if we have anything. We're going to reduce this damage by 1. All right, so 2 damage coming to the Tide Turner. And when it's attacked, we get to draw a card. All right, Far Strike. Oof. Droplet team making the comeback. And so that was 1. That was 2. 3, we will add a shield. Our faction action, add a shield to each connected, each Pebble connected to our Sage. And last thing we will do is draw a card, which is going to be our Grimblade. All right. Moving into our buy phase, we will buy this Guardian Shot. Okay. And we're going to draw 2 cards. So Guardian Shield and Restoration. All right. Discard these. And then the last thing, we go to the Torrent Sage right here. So 3. And we're going to do some attacking here. So the first thing we're going to do is play Tide Turner and attack the Gravel for 4. All right, the Pebble Sage is not going to defend here. So we are dealing 4 damage to our Pebble Sage with him. Okay, and what else do we got? 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we will swap the positions for action 2. Action 3, we're going to Close Strike for 4. All right, so this is going to go away, and 3 damage is going to be coming out to the Jade Elemental. So that's 1, swap for 2. That is 3. And then our 4th one, we will summon the Roaming Razor into our ability. We're not going to buy anything. This is just, we're gonna edge this game out and see who can survive off straight damage. So 3, we have card number 4, and then we're going to need to shuffle our deck for card number 5. All right, moving on to our Pebble Sage. Right away, we will just play Grimblade. All right, so 3 damage coming to our Stone Scoundrel here. All right, that's 1 action. We would swap the positions here of that for 2. And then we will activate the Gravel's ability for 3. And then we're going to play Focus Fury on Stone Scoundrel. Remove all 3 of these, all right, to deal 4 damage. And Stone Scoundrel is going to be defeated here. All right. And we need to move up some stuff in the rows. And we would level up to level 6 now. So level 6, we get Bold Hider Brute. That wants to work. All right. And that will be the end of the Pebble Sage's turn. He should have got 3 gold. I'm moving too fast for that. Again, we're not going to buy anything. We're just going to end our turn and go 1 and 2. All right. 2 new cards. Boom, bam, boom. All right. Moving over to our Droplet Sage. All right. We should get 3 gold. And pretty much this is going to be it for the Pebble Sage. So Guardian Shot. I think actually what we're going to do is, we will probably Close Strike the Tide Turner into the Cobble, which defeats the Cobble. We need to move something up, and we're just going to put the Gravel character here up. All right, we will do Guardian Shot with the Roaming Razor. All right, so 5 damage coming out to him. So that's 3, 4, and 5. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. So 1 more, and he is gone. And what's crazy is we don't actually have anything. So we will need to spend an action to draw 1 and 2 cards, and we have our final Far Strike to go ahead and deal 2 damage to our elemental Pebble Sage right there. So that has 12 damage on our Sage, and the Pebble Sage is defeated. The Droplet Sage is victorious. Alright guys, well look, that is a full playthrough of Command of Nature. I do know the last 10 minutes of the playthrough, I was just kind of rushing through it to get to the end. My one issue with Command of Nature is I feel like the game takes so much longer than it should be, right? On the box, it says 30 to 60 minutes. I have no idea where they got that 30-minute time frame from, because as long as you are able to generate gold and buy elementals to keep putting them in your formation, you can continue to stall the game out and stall the game out and stall the game out. I have not had one playthrough that I actually took my time through that has been under an hour here. So that's really my one issue with the game. I wish they found a better way to where you could not stall the game out. But I don't know what that looks like. But other than that, I do enjoy the elementals, the way they interact with each other. I love the deck building aspect of it. I love the formation in the row, only being able to attack certain elementals in certain formations. I think that's amazing. But you guys, go ahead and drop in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on Command of Nature? Do you agree with me? Do you really feel like it is too long of a playtime? If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit that notification bell. And as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.